Hey, welcome to Lyrics to Go. I'm Daniel. What you're about to watch is a clip from a recent live stream I did about Liz Phair's album Exile in Guyville from 1993. That was her first album. It's a real work of genius. You don't hear debut albums like this very often, if ever. On board with me was my good friend, the Pulitzer Prize winning musical theater composer and lyricist, Michael R. Jackson, and we just chopped it up for like 4.5 hours about this 18-track album that we both love so much. And there was an incredible surprise in the middle of it. All of a sudden, who should pop into the chat but Brad Wood, the producer of Exile in Guyville, who played many instruments on it and sang harmonies, and he gave us all kinds of insight. He was very generous with his time. I think he was having a lot of fun answering our questions and listening to us comment on Liz's lyrics on this album. So it was a super cool time. Now, like I said, it was 4.5 hours long. Now, the whole thing was 4.5 hours long. What you're going to see is much shorter than that. If you want to watch the whole thing, along with infinite replays of all of my live streams, that is reserved for my Patreon supporters, and you can become one by going to patreon.com/lyrics2go, and that's just one of the great benefits you get for supporting this channel in a tangible way. And either way, thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for helping me create a world where people actually listen to the lyrics. All right, enjoy the clip.
Lyrics to Go.
Cry if you want to. It's your party, Daniel.
It sure as hell is.
And when I asked for a separate room, it was late at night, and we've been driving since noon. But if I'd known how that would sound to you, I would have stayed in your bed for the rest of my life, just to prove I was right, that it's harder to be friends than lovers, and you shouldn't try to mix the two.
We still haven't had a paragraph break. You're muted, buddy.
And again, this is like I just keep going back to the brilliance of her ability to like deliver these soliloquies and
one that starts with the word "and."
Yes.
Can you believe it? It starts with the word "and."
And to like, he's talking to the dude, but she's not talking to the dude. She's talking to herself. That's the beauty of all of this, is that like, this is a whole album about a woman in dialogue with herself. And yet that dialogue with herself is with this dude, with this scene, with this community, with her past, with like, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah. You know, when I got into musical theater, this is one of the reasons I've always felt a kinship with you, Michael. I wasn't a particularly musical theater fan, and what drew me to it was the sense that it would be a place where I could dramatize the inner world, as opposed to a place where I could musicalize the drama of happenings and events and conflicts and plot and whatever, like people doing things to each other and people.
A little town, such a quiet village, every day like the one before. Like, yeah, I mean, I love that.
Hey. Peter Mills came on Lyrics to Go, and we talked about that very song and how brilliant it is.
I love that song, but but this is a different. It's internal, and it's internal without being precious.
Because to me,
like maudlin. It's like, it's really exciting to go inside this woman's brain.
Because what could be more theatrical than being inside the brain of a sensitive, verbose, multi-personality, seeing it from all different points of view person. That's my life.
Agreed.
You know, and like it's plenty theatrical, and there's a thing in me that wants to get it out. So even when I'm writing plots, you know, even when I'm writing narrative stories, like that's the spirit in which I try to write lyrics. And I love lyricists who can do that. Joni can do it, the interiority of it. Liz does that here, you know.
I'll try to give myself over to you. It's a promise that I made to love. When
that?
It was new, just like Jericho, I said.
Okay,
let
Jericho.
the walls come tumbling down. Like paragraphs, just continuing to speak. Liz is doing that here. It's beautiful.
I pulled into the Cactus Tree Motel to shower off the dust, and I slept on the strange pillows of my wanderlust.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
If you do it and you're still unhappy, then you know that the problem is you.
Yeah, it's process of elimination, right?
I mean, that line, that's fucking should be on, like, Mount Rushmore. It's harder to do friends and lovers, and you should try to mix the two. Because if you do it, you're still unhappy, then you know that the problem is you. I mean...
Well, I mean, to me, that applies to more than just friends, lovers. I mean,
yes,
it's like it's hard to be in a relationship, and if you do another relationship and another relationship and another relationship, and you would feel the same way, and the same dynamics crop up, and the same challenges crop up, and the person starts looking the same and sounding the same as all the others, then you know that the problem is you, because you're the only one who was there all 4 times.
Right, and how often does like a pop song or a rock song really indict the narrator?
It doesn't.
It's like gorgeous.
No, it doesn't. And most pop songs are only doing one thing. And if you look at all her indie peers, like, you know, you can't make heads or tails of Pixies lyrics. Like they're fun at best. You know, the fun is in the obliqueness. This is cool as shit, but it's not inscrutable. It's very scrutable.
Right.
It can be scruted. We are scruting it right here.
Yeah. I don't want to wait for our life to be over. Right.
Brian appreciates your exegesis on, you know, having a conversation inside herself with the scene with her past.
Listen, well, that's how I wrote my motherfucking musical. Was inspired by this album and being like, oh, you can like converse with yourself.
Brian,
interesting.
Brian, I exhort you, if you haven't heard this musical, go to Spotify or anywhere else, listen to the original cast recording of A Strange Loop, last year's Pulitzer Prize winning musical by Michael. It's a fantastic cast recording, beautifully produced, amazingly performed, and, you know, the writing is, as I said, flawless, spectacular.
Oh, thank you, Daniel.
Oh, it is. It is. It's a huge inspiration to me, and to so many others. And we can't wait to see what you do next. But you know, I'd also like to get one of my musicals out there sometime. You know,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I have no doubt about
it. The bear is waking up from hibernation.
And it's true that I stole your lighter.
Brian should have won a Pulitzer. You mean this album? Because Michael's musical did win a Pulitzer.
And it's also true that I lost the map. But when you said that I wasn't worth talking to, I had to take your word on that. But if you'd known how that would sound to me, you would have taken it back and boxed it up and buried it in the ground.
Nice alliteration.
Boxed it up and buried it in the ground. Boxed it up and buried it in the ground. Burned it up and thrown it away.
Yeah. I mean, again, I love the reciprocalness of, you know, if I'd known what that would sound to you, I would never have said it. You know, I just would have... or, of course, no, it's true. She's like, I would have stayed in your bed to make the point.
And again, it's like, this is so Mick Jagger. Like, this is like...
Really?
Swaggering, like...
Yeah.
Like, it's just that rockabilly kind of like bluesy, rock blues, like swagger.
Yeah.
But with the vulnerability, which is the thing that's different about her perspective from Nick or from the men of Chicago who she's talking to, is that she's being vulnerable within the swagger.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you hear it differently.
Well, she knows that the swagger is swagger. She knows that the swagger is a front because she's too wise to, and these men, they think they are their personas.
And she's not afraid to be vulnerable.
No, that's
it's
right.
like she lets it all hang out.
Yeah.
And that's like more badass than anything that they could ever do.
Yeah, Coulter calls this rockabilly country. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And you put in my hand.
It says, I think she says, they put in my hand a loaded gun, right?
I thought it was you. I think it's you.
It sounds to me like they, but I mean, it was probably you.
And it says you in the lyric.
Yeah, let's listen.
And you put in my hand
Yeah.
a loaded gun and then told me not to fire it.
And whenever
You did the things you said were up to me and then accused me of trying to fuck it up, but you never been a waste of my
if you're hearing this in
time. It's
concert,
never
the audience like really gets into this specific section. Because we're all singing along, and you put in my hands a loaded gun and then told me not to fire it. When you did those things, you said were up to me, and then you accused me of trying to fuck it up. Like the anger, like it's like fucking Roseanne Connor yelling at Dan about some shit about Becky and Darlene or whatever. Like it's just there's so many things that like are synthesized in what she's doing. Like it's the vocals, it's the music, it's the fucking attack of the lyric. It's everything is coming together in this like really intense synthesis within this like ongoing story that still has, 8 more tracks or 7 more tracks to go.
That fuck it up happens right where the drum fill would happen typically, it is the trying to boom 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 boom,
right, that's right.
It's got that effect, that function. And You've Never Been a Waste of My Time to me feels like a response to Bob Dylan. Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, right? You just kind of wasted my precious time, which is such a petty ass thing to say. And she's like, no, it's cool. Take a deep breath, and she tells him to calm down. Take a deep breath and count back from 10, and maybe you'll be all right.
Yeah, and again, but then all of that is still all of this is constructed in her mind of talking to this dude or these dudes. Like it's such a fully constructed picture of like what I want to say, what I wish had happened, what I wish you would say, what I feel it's like. She's not actually getting divorced. It's what it feels like. It's the emotional realism that she's able to tap into 150%. It's just like that mastery of like of emotion and of like painting that picture is so powerful. And like, who else could do that but her?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, folks, I'm so seriously right now, as Eric Cartman would say. Subscribe. Subscribe, please, on YouTube, please. Please join. I mean, I don't want to implore you, but I'm exhorting you.
Respect Daniel's authority.
Respect my authority. And avail yourself of the wonderful hundreds of videos that are available on this channel, all about lyrics. All right, let's keep going.
been a drag. So take a deep breath and count back from 10, and maybe you'll be alright.
So Brad says that fuck it up was always his favorite live moment, insane and cathartic.
I mean, it's so good. I mean, it's just
it's so good.
Nothing can beat that. It's just every time I've seen her do this live, every single time everybody in the audience like screams it at the top of their lungs. Because you know what that feels like. And this song is so much about empathy. That's like what I like. It just gets me. It's like, because it's her saying, if you you could see how that sounds to me when you do this thing, like that construction of empathy is like, I just had never heard that put into words in a song before. It's just so good.
And you know what's interesting about this album? When I listen to Ani DiFranco, I feel red. Like I feel, you know, like given the feminist reading, you know? When I listen to this album, I both feel red and I feel hurt. I feel seen. like I am her and I am the guy.
That's right.
I've been there, especially now that I've been through, you know,
both
a marriage.
Sides now.
Both sides now, right?
Liz has this unique ability to see all sides of it, and
all right, I'm about to
all sides of it through her own body and experience. Really
I'm about to. I should just end the stream after this joke. She's cruel, but she's fair.
She's always a woman to me.
That was the first song I played for Kate Willett on the misogyny episode. I was like, what do you think of this? Yeah. That was the first one.
Oh my God.
And the license said you had to stick around until I was dead. But if you're tired,
yeah, I've been both of these people. I've been both of these people.
I already am. But you've never been a waste of my time. It's never been a drag. So take a deep breath and count back from 10, and maybe you'll be alright.
And I mean, you want to talk about like inverse musical theater. So many musical theater songs end on a high fifth, right? And maybe you'll be all right, right. Maybe she goes, maybe you'll be all right.
But that's
end of song.
Right, but that's again because this is like in the movie of this is the fucking end of Act 1. Like it's shit has gone down, things are falling apart. And like, fuck you. Like,
and if I was arranging it,
what's gonna happen?
If I was arranging it, I might be tempted to just end the song on that word held out. Maybe you'll be for the musical. I'm saying, maybe you'll be all right. Curtain or lights.
Yeah, because it's like something has happened, and you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is gonna happen next? And it's so suspended.
Yeah.
That like it's the thing that's gonna bring you back for I don't know if I could fly a plane that's coming next.
That's right.
Like she's so good at the storytelling throughout these 18 tracks.
Did we make it sound like it's a movie? I actually meant on stage. Like
I mean, to me, I'm talking about them both interchangeably. Right. Movie, musical, like
it could be a movie musical would actually be cool.
I mean, it definitely could be a cool movie musical. But, like, the thing that I just need to implore, is since I have Brad's ear, is that it needs to be fucking cool, no matter what it is. Like, I don't want to do the, like, faggoty, stupid version. And I'm a faggot, which is why I can say that. Like, it needs to be the version that is, like, the essence of what the album and Girly Sounds is. It's like the raw, real, funny, sexy, dark, you know, like just complex version of it. That's what it needs to be.
It needs to have people. It needs to have people in the room who understand how musical theater functions, but who are willing to like only remember that once an hour.
Right. People like Michael R. Jackson.
And Daniel Maté.
And Daniel Maté. So like because it's and Liz Phair. Like that's the other part of that. Like Liz would have to be like have to be down to do it. Like and be involved in like making it into an actual real story that is approached with the same sort of integrity that the album was approached with.
I can already see the New York Times. I can see the New York Times pull quotes. Less faggoty than you'd expect.
Right. Like, which would be a little exhausting to put all the energy into it, but would be so worth it.
I see it. I'm seeing it. Yeah. You've never been a waste of my time. It's never been a drag. I mean, that's in fact, that's more of a diss. That's more of a diss than you just kind of wasted my precious time, honestly.
But that's the thing, like, the audience needs to, like, hear that. That's, like, devastating. You've never been a waste of my time. Oh, that's glorious.
I'm not that petty, so take a deep breath and come back. Oh, Brian, that's amazing. Liz, Brad, I hope you'll tell Liz this story. In 1995, I wrote the "I don't know if I could fly a plane, spell out your name" line on a card to my girlfriend. I thought you were going to say you had a plane skywrite it, but this is just as good. On a card to my girlfriend. I married her. She's upstairs right now.
That's amazing.
Shout out to Jen Smith. Is she Gen X?
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Gen X Smith.
That would be a good character in a musical, Gen X.
It would be. That would be a good character.
Jennifer Xavier Smith. All right, moving on.
Next tune.
We're taking our sweet time, just like I said we would, and I'm loving it.